Hi, Alex here, and welcome to part 1 of How to Become a Pilot. This video is for people seeking how to become a pilot, and I'm going to give you some details on how to get started with your piloting dreams. Now, this video is not a detailed outline of your pilot license or how to get your pilot license. I'm going to have a detailed video on that subject probably in part 2 or part 3 of this series. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about myself. I've been a commercial pilot and a flight instructor for many years. I've also owned and operated a prominent flight school in the Chicagoland area for about a decade now. And I'm doing this video because I've had countless people walk into the flight school asking us, what do we do here? That's because they saw the sign outside that says learn to fly. And after we explain to them that we're a flight school and we have our airplanes out there and we take people out and we do flight training lessons and so on, they're completely blown away by the idea that they can be flying an airplane on their first lesson, and that they can even get a pilot's license. Have you ever looked up at the sky to see a small single-engine airplane flying? Have you ever wondered who's flying that airplane? Or why? Well, chances are it's probably a privately owned and rented airplane that is being flown by someone who has a pilot license, who's flying just because they like flying. And renting an airplane is not only for the rich. It's really affordable. Believe it or not, renting a Cessna is cheaper than renting a jet ski in Cancun. For example, renting a Cessna at my school is about $120 per hour. And in Cancun, I rented a jet ski for $40 for 15 minutes. You do the math, and now you know what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to tell you is that it's easy to become a pilot, especially in the United States. Now, some people might already know how to do this, or think it's common sense as far as what you need to get your pilot's license. But trust me when I say there's lots of aviation enthusiasts who don't even know what the FAA is, or that an open to the public flight school exists in their backyard. Now, for you aviation enthusiasts that didn't know that, the reality is that becoming a pilot is kind of like getting your driver's license. If you think that people flying the big jet airliners have to go to military first or have to go through some big government program in order to become a pilot, let me tell you that that is not true. In many other countries that may be the exact case, but not in the United States. Actually, in the United States has the best infrastructure and legal system set up to promote general aviation and commercial aviation. That is why lots of students from other countries come to the United States to get their pilot's license. Now, I'll be honest with you, it takes a little more work and dedication to get your pilot's license than it is to get your driver's license, but it can be done. So here's what you need to do. First, you need to find a flight school. There's lots of flight schools out there, not just the big universities that provide flight training. And don't think that a small school can't provide good training as opposed to a big university. You see, flight training is a personal one-on-one thing with your instructor, so the quality of your training is directly linked to the quality of your instructor. I'll do a whole video on this topic in the future. Now, these schools have everything you need to get started. Things like the airplane, the teacher, which is a certified flight instructor, and a certified flight instructor needs to be a commercial pilot. The books and all the other stuff that you need to have to start your training. Here's how it works. The FAA is a government agency that deals with pilot licensing. And they have issued laws that say that you must meet certain requirements before you can become a licensed pilot. The first license you'll have to earn is a private pilot license. Whether you want to become a commercial pilot or not, you'll still have to earn a private license first. Here's a summary of the minimum requirements that the FAA requires you to have before you can get that private pilot license. You must have a minimum of 40 hours of flying time. 20 hours must be with an instructor. 10 hours must be solo. You must have passed a written test. You must be at least 17 years of age. And you'll also have to do a flying test. So what you do next is go to one of these schools, hook up with a flight instructor, rent the airplane, and fly with that instructor so you can meet the FAA requirements. Now, FAAflightschools.com is also a directory of flight schools listed by city and state. So you can go there to search for a flight school in your area so that you can get started on your flight training. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope this video has been informative. You can get more information on topics like this at FAAflightschools.com, and the exact link to this topic is listed here. I believe it's also in the description of the video. Please join us for part 2 of this series on how to become a pilot.